It was really brutal. So I knew, I was like, there's gotta be more. Like, this cannot be my life. I was, it was 2020. So I was like, I'm only like barely even 50 years old and I'm already like, feel like I'm 80 and I can't get out of bed. I can't, I want a horseback ride. I want to do all the things. I want to, go hang out with my kids and have fun. And I hadn't been able to do that for a long time.
Welcome back to the Mind Change Podcast. I'm your host, Heather McKean. And today, such a wonderful conversation I get to have with my friend, Vicki Durfee. So welcome, Vicki.
Hi, how are you?
Good to have you.
Thank you.
So I love your story. And it's funny, I think I know people's stories and then I find out more information. So I'm going to start out by how did you come to find mind change? How did you stumble upon us?
Oh, gosh, it was a long time ago. It's 2019, I think. A friend of mine's daughter was very involved, and she introduced me to the mind change world, and she said, you need to read this book. I was having a lot of health issues. I'd gained a lot of weight due to the health issues, a lot of trauma from some previous relationships. And I read the book. And I started doing the work from the book just on my own and immediately lost 10 pounds. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, how did I lose this weight so fast? And then she invited me to join a book club. So I wanted to join, I wanted to learn more, dig deeper. So I did. And during the book club, I started finding myself losing more weight. And, funny, it was good and bad because things started getting revealed, which I thought was kind of, it was a good thing because I knew that there were things in there that I needed to get out. And so it just was going to take some time. So I did the book club and some things that were getting revealed were big. I had been a victim of domestic violence, and which I'm now a victor. And I just knew that I needed a little extra help. Some of the things my current husband would do, no violence or anything like that, but he would just if he raised his voice at the dogs or something, it was like major triggers. And I literally was going into a closet in my head. So I was hiding. I was putting up a wall. And that was when I think we had started, you had started doing the group retreats. So I signed up for a group retreat, and this was in 2020. Lovely, COVID, and it got canceled, but you did offer private retreats. So I opted to do a private retreat because I really wanted to work through my own stuff. And so by the time I went to the private retreat in, I believe it was October, November of 2020, I was already down about 25, 30 pounds and was really working through things. Mm-hmm. So Hawaii was incredible. I mean, just beautiful for one, very serene. Where we went and had the retreat or my own private retreat was at, I can't remember the name of the hotel, but boy, was it amazing. It was just very peaceful. And it was exactly what I needed. And I remember the first time I met Kit, I was like, can I do this? Because I really didn't know if I could, just to be honest.
What did you think you were coming to do?
I had been through counseling before, so different therapies. So I guess I kind of thought I was just walking into something similar. I had no idea. I'd never done any sessions. I'd never done anything. So I thought, well, maybe I'm just walking into a counseling session, just normal. And so walking into it was, we sat outside on a bench and Kent asked me the same thing. What do you think you're walking into? What do you want to change? And I really felt comfortable. I didn't know if I'd feel comfortable just because the things I was working on was with men. So I was like, am I going to be comfortable with this? And I was so comfortable just sharing my story with him, sharing my family with him, and just he immediately like almost started just kind of like working on like the initial intake. I was like, this is crazy how he's already like talking to me, and I'm feeling things in my heart that are already like shifting. And I was like, this is crazy. So it was really good.
That's very brave. You read the book. Yes. You did some work. You had lost some weight, which is huge. I mean, losing 25, 30 pounds without trying by working on things from a book in your mind. And with a book club, like that's huge. But what was it that got you to make the decision to hop on a plane during COVID, come to Hawaii, quarantine, do the whole thing that needed to happen, and then sit down and share these kind of really deep things with two virtual strangers? What was it about Mind Change that made you feel like this may work?
It made me cry. I wanted my marriage to work. And honestly, where my husband and I were at the time, he couldn't raise his voice. He couldn't, if the wind caught the door and it slammed too hard, I was like, literally a wall was going up between us and my marriage. And I felt like I was losing my marriage, felt like I was losing my kids. I didn't have a good relationship with any of them. And I knew that if I wanted to continue with my family and have the family that I knew I wanted, I had to get the help I needed. And even if my family needed help, it didn't matter. I had to work on me. And so reading the book really helped me to understand that the only person I can work on was me. And the changes that needed to happen had to happen with inside me. And so honestly, my biggest motivator was just healing. I had to heal what had happened in my past. And that was scary. I'm not going to lie. It was so scary. There were things that we had to work through that were just, I worked with you on some of them, and domestic violence is no joke.
Right. And you had, like you had said, some therapy, to whatever degree you could at the time, approached these things and tried to work through these things, but they were still super alive and, in control really in a lot of ways all these years later. Because when you came, how long had it been since you'd actually been in that relationship?
So it had been about, so 2020, I've been married 31 years now. So it had been a good 25 years. And it had all kind of like been hidden. I was really good at hiding things under the rug. I called it the dust bunny analogy, and then you step on that rug and they all explode. So I was very good at hiding things under the rug. I was very good at exploding. And then some things happened with the person that I had been with, and he passed away. And when that happened, for whatever reason, it opened the floodgates to my heart. And I felt like safe to let go of the whole, everything I was holding on to, because I was really holding that trauma, because if I let it go, then for me, it was real. And so I was holding it, and then letting it go once he passed really just opened the floodgates. And what I mean by that is that's when a lot of the triggers started happening. I started having a lot of health issues, a lot. I was super sick. Like PICC lines and so many bladder and kidney infections that they started doing like procedures on me for 8 years. I was doing like a bladder surgery every 3 months for 8 years.
And what was that condition?
It was called interstitial cystitis that I was doing. And what it was it would mimic a bladder or kidney infection, and the amount of pain would shoot pain down your legs, up your back. It was everywhere, to the point where I was in the emergency room probably once a month for pain meds. I was on pain meds at home. And then, like I said, then it would turn to infection, and my body was so, I got so immune to different antibiotics that they started putting me on PICC lines, and It was really brutal. So I knew, I was like, there's gotta be more. Like, this cannot be my life. I was, it was 2020. So I was like, I'm only like barely even 50 years old. And I'm already like, feel like I'm 80 and I can't get out of bed. I can't, I want to horseback ride. I want to do all the things. I want to, go hang out with my kids and have fun. And I hadn't been able to do that for a long time.
So Mind Change, by reading the book and doing the book club, is probably where you started to make the connection that maybe some of these things going on in my body are linked to some of these things that have happened to me in the past.
Yeah.
So because it was interesting when you came for the retreat, the private retreat, we initially thought we were just working on domestic abuse memories. And then in the conversations and in the intakes, we find out about this long battle with interstitial cystitis. I always have such a fun time saying that. And then I was like, oh, there's a connection here too. Like, there's no wonder your body is doing this.
Yeah.
But I remember, and I don't know if you remember in the same way, you were a little bit like, I don't really see, you were just kind of like, I just would like to feel a little bit better. I don't think you really expected to have the kind of turnaround you did with that condition.
Yeah.
Because we were just working, it seemed like we were just working on a lot of the domestic violence.
Right.
And it just so happened that
it just was, that
it was connected to that, right? So then you're in Maui, we do all the stuff, and that was great. It was such a pleasure working with you. You were so wonderful. And we did some pretty...
We had fun.
Yeah, we had fun. Isn't it so weird that you can have fun letting go of these really traumatic and horrible events?
Yep.
So when you left, what was your expectation? Did you think that it was going to have a big impact on your bladder? I mean, already so much got let go. Like, we weren't really able to find anything or trigger anything anymore with the domestic abuse.
Right.
But the bladder thing was kind of like, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
So I remember when the last day, and we were going to go for a hike, and Kent was like, we're going to jump off a cliff. And I was like, no, we're not. And I just remember him saying,
into a waterfall, by the way.
Yes, into a waterfall.
We just don't have people jump off cliffs.
Yeah, we weren't just jumping off a cliff. We were going to jump into a waterfall. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't think so. And because I was like really nervous to jump off this waterfall. And Kent was like, but aren't you ready to let go of everything? And I said, I am. And then literally, like, I stood up there and did my own little, like, okay, I can do this. And I did my deep breathing and I did everything and I jumped. And I have video of me jumping, which was really cool. I hang on to that and watch it periodically. So then I went home and I was like, probably like, I think my a procedure I had was just before I came to Hawaii. It was in like September. And I thought, well, it's been a few months. I probably need one, like here I am thinking in my head, I just need one. And I think I even emailed you.
Surgical procedure.
Yeah. And I was like, I think I even emailed you and I was like, I'm really not like having much pain, but maybe I should do one just to make sure. And you were like, well, you need whatever you think, and so I did. So February of 22, I did a procedure. I literally went in, had the procedure, came out. My normal recovery is like, it was like in pain in the hospital for a day or two, and then in pain to recover for like 7 to 10 days. And then I would have 3 weeks of recovery, of feeling better. And then the pain would start kicking back up. So I went in, had the procedure done, went home the next day. And then I was like, I don't really have, they're like, you need pain meds? I'm like, I don't think so. I didn't even need the pain meds, which was so weird. And then that was February of 2022. And I have not had one since.
Wow. And you were getting them every 3 months?
Every 3 to 4 months.
For 8 years?
8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Because they said there was no cure.
Yeah.
That's what I was told. And so they would go in and do the procedure, and it was basically numbing the bladder, and it would keep it numb for that time.
And how interesting.
Right.
Keeping it numb when that's part of what you were trying to do.
I was numbing.
You were numbing in so many other areas. And I have the absolute pleasure of knowing your husband.
Yes.
And it's interesting too, because like you were saying, the impact that this had on your marriage, he's a big personality.
Yes.
He's a such an exuberant personality. And I can see now that so many of your triggers, him being his like best, most authentic self was actually triggering you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
And it was coming across as this is dangerous and, various things. So he was probably limiting himself as well, trying not to trigger you.
Right.
So you go home and you are released from all of these memories, these triggers from the domestic abuse. What impact does that have on your marriage?
Wow. It changed everything. I mean, our marriage probably, it went from like a 3 to a 9. I mean, it changed everything so quickly. It changed my marriage. It impacted my kids. It impacted my relationship with my son, my daughter. They are both going through their own things. And then my son's comment to me a lot is, Mom, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of where you're at. Because he's like, to see where you were and to see where you are now. And I was like, well, you can have this too. And so now he is involved with the Mind Change Journey. And my daughter is reading the book. And she loves your podcast, by the way. My husband,
Shelby.
I know, hi Shelby. And I think my husband has probably been the first one to comment on 99% of the podcast lately.
And
and
hi,
then
Chris.
Yep. And Josh,
And Josh, yes.
bringing all my friends in, bringing my family in, and just sharing my journey with them has been just so incredible. It's really helped me in my spiritual journey as well. I feel like I've just really learned a whole lot more about myself in a spiritual way, which has really helped me to grow in ways that I didn't even know were capable. I thought I was already you go to somewhere for a number of years and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm learning so much more. And so I feel like I've just grown leaps and bounds spiritually. My relationship with my family, with my mom and my dad. And, so I don't know, there's just so much. I'm down 65 pounds.
65 pounds.
Yeah.
That's significant.
It is.
Without like trying to specifically diet, exercise, lose weight, right?
I literally, have just really worked on what goes in my mouth. And is this going to be good for me? And that's really what I work on. I don't limit myself. I just say, is this good for me or is this not?
And now you have a value system
yes
of who you really are inside that gets to interact with that decision, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So is this good for my body because I'm good inside?
Yeah.
I'm worthy, I'm valuable. And then the weight, there's no reason for the weight to hold on after that.
Yeah. I've never loved myself. And I can literally honestly say I love myself. Like I look in the mirror, I'm like, you're cute. And I've never been able to do that. So to be able to say that you love yourself, to be able to say that I'm confident in who I am and in, my life and where it's at, and to be able to get up and go horseback riding, to go for, a hike, things that I just honestly didn't think were in my future. 8 years ago, 7 years ago, I would have never thought that they were even something that I could even obtain anymore. It was like, yeah, but I can. So,
now, I don't know all my clients' husbands, but I feel like I know your husband pretty well.
Yeah.
Why?
Because now Chris is doing sessions. And not only that, but after Hawaii, I chose to go to Belize. So I went to a group retreat in Belize by myself. And I learned a lot about myself at that one as well. I think that was where just so much more came out, just, about me. And I think that's where the spiritual stuff came out. A lot of that came. And then the next Belize retreat, my husband was able to go with me. So Chris and I were able to share in that. And now he loves the Mind Change world. He shares it with everybody. And he's like, this is our family. And I'm like, it is our family. And then we also did the self-empowerment retreat, which, oh my gosh, I think that was probably one of the best retreats I've ever been to in my life. Like, it was so incredible. It was so, I just felt like I grew and I just changed in ways I never even knew. And now you have the intimacy retreat coming up, which we've signed up for.
Woohoo!
So, I mean, there's just so much that, I just feel like this is what I want with my life versus this is what, a lot of people look at doctors and they look at different things and they're like, oh, this is what I need. But when you actually go back and you read the book and you realize like, it's not what we need, it's what we want. And when you can grow in your own self and you can love yourself and really be confident and decide what you want and what you hold inside, it's so different. Mm-hmm. And so for us to be able to say, yep, we're going to this retreat and this retreat is, we're super excited. So really fired up.
It's been really great. And then
yes,
you have also started your own book club.
I have.
Yeah. How does that go?
So we started out, it's been a year. Yeah, we started last June. And so far, I would say like 7 out of the 8 girls, we all still get together. We finished the book within 3 or 4 months, and they're all like, can we keep getting together? And so I've been able to have like Mackenzie come on and show self work. And then like yesterday we had book club and we were able to go in and I worked with someone on their safe haven. And we've just been able to do a lot of just different things with the book club. And now they want to start again with the new book that just came out. And so we're going to be starting that here in the next couple months and bring some more people in and join our book club. But it's fun because we have like a little text group and they write, oh, it's my metanoia family or my mind change family. And I just love that. I'm like, it is my sisters. So,
and are you seeing changes in them from just reading the book and being a part of the book club?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Several of them they've come to me and said, hey, can you just like walk with me through doing my self work? Or, I don't understand this. And so we've been able to answer a lot of questions. They've been able to do the work. It's been really good to see. The book clubs are amazing. It's a great opportunity for people to just really be in a smaller group, but to be able to like speak what they want and be able to just have a voice. And so that's been really, really good. So yeah.
That's great.
Love that too.
So you have background with chronic illness and domestic violence. Mm-hmm. So what would you say to someone out there if they, let's say, have a history of domestic violence and maybe they're out of immediate danger, but they've seemed to have held on. In some ways, they're still being abused if they're holding on to it for this long, if it's still affecting their life. What would you say to someone out there who might feel that way or resonate with your story?
Just get the help. I mean, there's so much in the mind change world that can just help you to grow, to have the confidence that you need to be married for 31 years to an amazing person. And they're not alone. Like that one thing I always felt when I was in it was I was alone. And now I know I'm not. I have a big family. And if, things pop up, we've got people. Mm-hmm. But it's just to know that you're not and that there's resources. And this has been the best resource. I mean, I went to a lot of different places for different resource areas. I can talk. Mm-hmm. And this is by far the one that was like the permanent change. And I feel like I did make the permanent changes that I needed to make. And I actually see that person in a whole different light. Thank you, Kent. And it's amazing just where my mind is at now. Like my mind is in a whole different place. So anybody who's out there with that, they just know that you can get help and you can heal and you can love yourself.
Because there's a lot of shame associated with being a survivor of domestic abuse, right? Mm-hmm. And it keeps people sometimes quiet. Mm-hmm. Even if they're out of it or if it happened a long time ago, there's shame around it, right? Mm-hmm. That's part of the story. Yeah. And so like you being brave enough to finally face it, people don't want to drag stuff back up again. Mm-hmm. If you were in a new marriage, you had a whole different life, and yet this stuff was still there. It was causing the health problems and the weight gain. And so part of how to overcome those things is engaging with the shame story and realizing like that's one of the first things that needs to be let go of.
Yeah.
And without going back in and dragging people through it again and rehearsing and talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, we can dip in, feel it, and pull back out and make change.
Yeah.
So it's not maybe as scary as it has been.
Right.
And it doesn't leave you in it, right?
Yeah, because I was definitely hidden behind my own internal wall for all those years. And I don't think I really realized how hidden I was until I started reading the book and I started like really looking at myself and realizing, wow, I can heal. I'm not stuck here. And it's an amazing feeling.
And you have really like blossomed and come out of, I feel like you look 20 years younger now than when I even first met you. Yeah. And just, I've been able to be with you in beautiful places on this earth and just watched you kind of unfold, figure out things you really like to do, find people that you really connect with on an even deeper level. Like you said, the relationship with your husband, with your children, so many things are visibly different with you. And I know you've impacted a lot of people. A lot of people were like, man, Vicki, I've watched her and there must be something with this stuff. Because you're like a walking testimonial.
Oh, thank you.
So I think that's really great.
I love it. I love this work. I love what I'm doing. I love just digging deeper. So yeah, even just digging deeper now is so good.
Because initially we dig deep into some of the stuff that was really, really tough.
Yeah.
And then over time, we start digging deeper into the stuff that's like really good.
Yeah.
And like unlayering, it becomes more of the leveling up process than the dealing with problems.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, how deep can I go in my love?
Yeah.
How deep can I go in my connection to something spiritual? How deep can I go in expanding myself? And like you said, this week, you're a sponge.
I do. I feel like a sponge going through the intern program. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. And just being a sponge, just learning. I 56 years old. I'm like, feel like I'm back in school, but I feel like that sponge. I'm like, I just want to learn more and I want to bring more people in and just show them what I have. And, my sister even is just like, how did you do this? What did you do? Like, you're just a different person. And I'm like, thank you. I mean, I don't question it. I just say thank you. And then I share with them what has helped me. And it's an amazing journey.
Well, thank you for sharing it with us.
You're welcome.
It's really been incredible to watch. And that's why I felt like we've got to get you back on that podcast, because you haven't been on the podcast, but we had interviewed you long, long ago.
Yeah.
But I do think your story is very inspiring and can reach a lot of people out there. Great. So if there's anybody else out there watching or listening that you feel like if there's one thing you feel like they may need to know, whoever resonates with your story, what might that be?
Don't wait. Yeah, that was the advice that was given to me from the person who introduced me to my friend that introduced me to the book in the very beginning. She said, if you want to see a real change, don't wait. Just get the book, read it. And I was like, okay. So I would say the advice to anybody out there that's thinking, just do it. It's worth it. It's worth every night of reading. It's worth everything. So yeah.
Had you ever invested in yourself like you do now?
No. Never.
Because there wasn't that value and that worth.
Right.
And now you've such a deep investment into yourself in so many ways.
Yeah.
And it really shows up.
Thank you. Yeah. No self-care, no nothing. Now I'm like, I need to take care of me because I'm the only me I'll ever have. So.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Vicki.
You're welcome.
So great to have you here.
Thanks.
And thank all of you for joining us once again on the Mind Change Podcast, where we are changing the world one mind at a time.